Okay, Dean, you all good? All right. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the October South Range Board of Education meeting. We're going to start things off calling the meetings to order. Mr. Mayor, do you call the roll, please?
Tyler Bates. Here. Jack Dawson. Here. Elizabeth Johnson.
Here.
Terry Lally.
Here.
Brian Bagwell.
Here. If you would, I'd like to observe a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As usual, we'd just like to remind everybody this is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. Is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time and place for public participation during the agenda. First item is the approval of the actual agenda. Did anybody have any changes or questions? If not, we just need a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
I'll move. I'll second.
We have Terry with the motion, Elizabeth seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. So let's start off with the best part of the night.
Yeah, best part of the night. Tonight, board, we are celebrating Raider Profile winners from the middle school. Very excited. Thank you, families, for coming on out. How this will work is we'll call a voting principal up. And after we go through, students, you'll stay up here with me. And at the end, we'll get a picture with the students and the teachers, and then the students with the board, and then families will be able to get any pictures right in front of the table here. Okay? So that being said, I'd like to welcome up Principal Ware. Come on up.
Thank you so much for being here. This is absolutely the reason why we're here, is because of our students, and very excited for the first time that I get to do this, to introduce we'll start with our fifth grade. The fifth grade teacher will come up, introduce our fifth grade student, and give a little bit of information about our student and why they're receiving this award, and then we'll go through 6th, 7th, 8th. But again, I'm just really very thrilled to have our students who are recognized in a certain way that's really going to be beneficial for our kids and for our community. So, our fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Hostler, please come up and introduce our kids.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call up Marie Calatruglia. You want to come up? Okay. Marie, the fifth grade teachers would like to recognize her as one of our outstanding students who truly embodies what it means to be a leader and a learner in school. Marie is a fabulous student and gives her very best effort in everything she does. She asks thoughtful questions and is persistent in working through challenges. Her hard work and determination have led to impressive growth and success in all of her classes. Beyond academics, she sets an example of kindness, respect, and perseverance for her peers. Marie is the kind of student who always has a smile on her face. Yes. She has a positive attitude that makes the classroom a brighter place to be, and she lifts others up just by being herself. She is quick to lend a hand to classmates who might need some support, and often can be heard in offering encouraging comments to others. The compassion and teamwork she displays make her a wonderful role model to others. We're so proud of all she's accomplished and grateful for the positive energy that she brings to our Raider family every single day. Congratulations, Marie.
Okay, and our 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Protein.
The 6th grade staff is honored to recognize Gabriella Ware, come on up, as our October Outstanding Raider student. Gabriella possesses the qualities of a remarkable student and model citizen in our school community. She has a natural instinct to help others. She ensures that all her work is complete and always at a high standard. She is engaged in class activities daily, often contributing to the discussions that they have in class. She always has a positive attitude, and her kindness for her classmates never goes unnoticed. Gabriella is a true role model and is an exceptionally deserving student of this recognition. Congratulations.
And 7th grade, Mrs. Rakita.
Hi, everybody. The 7th grade would like to honor Miss Avery Conrad, if you want to come up. So good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Zapolnik, educators, families, and guests. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm honored to recognize one of our outstanding students, a 7th grader who exemplifies what it means to be a dedicated, responsible, and respectful young person. Avery is the kind of student every teacher hopes to have in class. She's hardworking, conscientious, and consistently gives her best effort in everything she does. Whether it's a challenging assignment, a group project, or an everyday classroom task, Avery approaches it with determination, attention to detail, and a positive attitude. What truly sets her apart is not just academic diligence, it's the way she conducts herself with maturity, kindness, and a strong sense of responsibility. Avery is respectful to her peers and teachers and is always willing to lend a hand, and often goes out of her way to support others. In a world that often celebrates the loudest voices or the flashiest achievements, it's important to also recognize the quiet leaders, the students who lead by example, who show up every day with integrity, and who make our schools simply better by being who they are. We are proud of Avery and grateful to have her as part of our school community, and it's students like her who remind us why we do the work we do. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating Avery for her outstanding character and
And then 8th grade, Mrs. Stemple.
I'm gonna stand over here because I'm watching the video all the time. I want to make sure you're seen. So come up, Harley. It's Harley Boones. So choosing Harley, is he in the video? Come on, you need to be in the video. Choosing Harley as our Radar Profile student was an easy decision. He represents all the ships we value. You could be captain of the ship, actually. Most notably, Harley stands out for scholarship. He completes every assignment with focus and determination, consistently producing exceptional work. Harley's especially impressive in how he manages his classes. Because he takes a high school level math class, yes, in the high school, he leaves my class a few minutes early. But he always makes a point to check in afterwards, ensuring he stays caught up. His level of responsibility and self-awareness is rare, especially for someone his age. He has set ambitious goals for himself and will not let anything get in the way. Harley demonstrates a level of drive and foresight well beyond his years. He is a role model outside his classroom as well. Despite being admired by many of his peers, both for his academic abilities and his athletic talents, he remains humble and respectful. Harley's teachers frequently note his maturity and kindness. As Mr. Rapid shared, he may just be the most polite student I've had in years. All of his teachers agree. Furthermore, leadership comes naturally to Harley. He consistently supports both his classmates and teachers, stepping up to help wherever needed, often without being asked. Harley's ability to earn the respect of both peers and adults while consistently making positive choices sets him apart. As Mrs. Best put it, he's just not too cool for school, even though he totally could be. We are proud to recognize Harley not only as an outstanding student, but as the kind of young man, those of you who have young boys, the kind of young man you'd want your own sons to admire and learn from. Good job.
All right, picture time. So at this time, teachers, if you can come back up, we're gonna go right back. You guys are going to pictures. You go behind the table. Okay? Yeah, you go behind the table.
But there was so much. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, teachers, if you want to go ahead in, we'll get a picture.
Should we stand behind her?
Do we all fit?
We all fit?
Yeah. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now the last one, if the board wants to go ahead in. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Families, feel free to take any pictures. If you got to leave, yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Anybody wants any pictures, feel free. This time is yours.
What's in my Harley?
All the ratings.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we're going to continue with our regular board agenda. Feel free to stay. If not, if you want to go out and get dinner, absolutely. But we appreciate you guys being here. Again, we're going to continue with our board meetings. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 6. All right, we're going to go to item number 6, public participation for agenda items. If anybody has anything they'd like to share, we just ask for your name and address, and then we're going to ask for 2 minutes. I didn't have anybody on the list, but if there's anybody else, we'll just keep going to number 7. Communications?
Yeah, first, I'm excited to share that we will be holding our Raider Ambassador meeting next week with a specific Raider communication group that we have. Great opportunity to have some two-way communication with that group. In September, we held our second cup of coffee at C's Waffle. I appreciate the parents and Liz and Mario for attending that. We received a lot of good input, and from that, we were able to take some input back to the team, and we had a peace and safety meeting that same day. And actually, we had some changes in some procedures that parents were concerned about with safety that we brought to the attention of the law enforcement and those that are at that peace and safety meeting. So that was a really good opportunity to make some change. We'll have another second cup of coffee in February. I do have 3 updates. First, this year our counseling team solidified a proactive safety curriculum for students in the district. We're implementing Erica's Lighthouse, Sandy Hook Promise, and Start With Hello, as well as some other curriculum for social emotional needs in the classrooms. Next, I'm reporting that back in, I believe it was May or June, we ordered safety room stickers because some of them are kind of faded on the outside of the windows. And for whatever reason, the company just didn't receive them back over the summer. Recently, they did come in, and I know Dean and his crew went and picked them up, and they're in the process of fixing some of the faded out stickers from the windows. Last, as the board is aware, the last few months, going back to April and May, we had discussions of recording our board meetings and putting them online. Going back to June and then July, we piloted a technology, as you can see here, we piloted this OWL technology and worked out some kinks. I know Dean and George worked over the last few months of why things weren't recording after the meetings and so forth. So as you can see here in front of us, we purchased that OWL technology. So that's our OWL, and we will be recording this meeting and then posting it on the website by Friday. And we just want to make sure we record and it works because it's our technology now. We're not borrowing the one that we had. So by Friday, I think after each board meeting, we want to have that website updated with the live stream or with the streamed the meeting. Next, with our safety and resources update, there are a lot of property tax reform issues on the docket for the legislation. And last week I attended the superintendent conference where we learned a lot about what's going on with local property taxes. Ohio families pay the 8th highest property taxes out of the 50 states. We're number 8 out of 50. And just going back of why we got into the situation, it's decades of state policies changing. Going back to the 1990s, homeowners and farmers paid about 47% of local taxes. Today, it's nearly 70%. So we know property tax reform is much needed. As more has gone to local, the state share has decreased to about 30%, where at one time it was reversed. So there's a lot of conversation of what to do. You know, schools have consolidated since the 80s. We have shared services. We have stretching every dollar, but we know families need that property tax relief, and we know communities need strong schools. So I think the communication from the board and the community is talking to legislators, talk about like what can we do together so that schools are still having the resources needed, and at the same time property owners are getting that relief. I mean, I know that's a push. About 400 schools in the state of Ohio. Historic changes are happening in the state of Ohio with that. My last update is simply that we are nearing the end of fall sports with a lot of events going on and so forth. So we just wish all of our athletes, cheerleaders, band, all of those individuals.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, the consent agenda for treasurer and superintendent. First item, the meeting minutes approval for the September 17th meeting. Any changes or adjustments? If not, I'll kick it over to Mr. Nero for the treasurer report.
You were guys provided with the September financials. I was just going to highlight, going back to the property taxes that Dr. Skolnick discussed. House Bill 96 was the state budget that was passed back in the summer. There's 3 veto line items that the governor vetoed before he signed it that address property taxes. Now the Senate on October 1st joined the House and overturned one of them. Essentially that eliminated certain levy types, which are your fixed sum, which is emergencies, your substitute levies, and I think the income tax. Those are different type of levies. We obviously have the emergency. So when ours expires in a few years, we'll have to discuss different options, what we have available to us to renew that. Emergency levy generates roughly $1.7 million, so that'll be a big hit to our budget if we obviously can't renew it. Other 2 items were expanded the county budget commission. Pretty much gave them the authority that the budget commission can reduce our millage on their own if they feel like we don't need the money. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. The House talked about acting on that veto line item by the end of October, and also another item was revising the 2004 calculation. Now they eliminated those fixed sum levies, those emergencies, but they also want to add it to the 2004, which would also adjust how much we currently collect. So those are 2 items that we'll be paying close attention to. I'll keep you guys updated. And 2 other separate bills that will affect property taxes is House Bill 186, which is an inflation cap credit, which pretty much goes back to when we did our revaluation back in 2023, that we got an increase because of our 2004 calculation, but pretty much goes back and takes some of that increase we got away. So over a 3-year period, we could lose close to around $2 million. So that's something to pay attention to. And then House Bill 335, it caps your inside millage. So when certain levies are passed, you don't get growth on those. Back to the old law, House Bill 920, that reduced your millage based on how much you were expected to collect, except for new construction. But you do have inside mills that you did see that growth. So this bill will also cap that growth. So they are attacking property taxes at all angles. So still a lot of stuff in the air, but a lot we have to pay attention to. So like Dr. Paul said, is just talk to your legislators about what we can do to help schools, but a lot's coming down from the state that we don't know. So.
Yeah, so the way I understood that one, as far as capping the tax rate on it, that has nothing to do, so property value may appreciate, to infinity, right? And you could sell your home for an enormous profit from when you bought it from, but they're gonna cap the amount they'll tax you on, even though you see your home price continue to climb.
Oh, yeah, a lot goes into the different mills, but yeah, the millage for the inside that we get is roughly 5.1.
Right, but what I'm getting at is so X home 30 years ago, $100,000, fast forward 30 years, X home is now $500,000. property tax was held off and capped by this current, with what you just said, it's capped at a $200,000 value, correct?
Yeah, correct, they'll cap how much we can get from that.
And from previous discussions with you, I think we're operating right now, we've voted in a 16.9 mil floor, or we have voted in a 16.9, right? And if they,
After adjustments, yes.
after adjustments, we're at 16.9 mil floor. So, well, we're running off a 20 mil floor because the state requires property taxes to pay 20 mils, but we, as a community, only voted in 16.9. So we're actually being held to the state standards currently. And if they go away from, if they reduce or eliminate that 20 mil floor, essentially the community would have to put on 3.1 mil levy to just get us back to where we were. Correct? Essentially.
If
I know-
they eliminate the floor, so.
Yeah, if they eliminated,
But based on our levy options we have available, if they kept the floor, we would have to probably pass a 4 mil levy to see one additional mill revenue. 'Cause
yeah,
Right now, we're getting.
so the
we have
first
a
three,
20 mil
the
bump.
first 3.1 right now, we have we've essentially got with the reappraisal in 23.
Correct.
So it's a big deal and it's gonna be an issue and we all are kind of being held, I don't wanna say hostage, but like with whatever the state decides to do, I mean, I think it's gonna be important for everybody to talk to their legislators and.
Just know the impact, like I said, we all realize that property tax relief is needed, but just what they're doing, how it impacts schools and your local police and fire and all that stuff. One thing, the effective was 2023 was 16.9. Remember, this past year we approved our valuations, but they screwed up the calculation. So when I talked to them, they said our effective millage is back around 20. So, but we didn't receive that bump, and we still received the same amount the year before. So I still have to talk with them to see where they have our effective millage at. They have it at around 20, so right now we're at the floor. But that 2 years ago, the reevaluation they had us at 16.9. So as we get to that year where our levy will expire, we'll have to see where our effective millage is to see how much, what our options are. So like I said, 2 of those bills are not, they haven't been passed or anything, they're just been introduced. So they introduced and then they have discussions and then they add changes to it, all that stuff. So there's still a lot to go with those 2, but things seem to be moving quick. So at least wanted to get on your guys' radar.
Any, again, this is just me talking out loud, any utility in reaching out to other school districts and essentially as a cohort, and let's just, an example would be the Tri-County area or us in Columbiana County saying like, hey, we would like to meet with our state reps, or just to go over what.
So I know our local ESC has hosted the house, the reps from Ashtabula.
No, I know, but with what's going on, to essentially come down again, go over this, talk to them, see.
So we just had a trip meeting today at the county, and they talked about doing that again.
Okay.
So, but it didn't go, it wasn't very helpful. The state legislator, they keep saying what they're hearing is property tax relief, so they really weren't, I guess, listening to the school's concerns that last time that happened. So they're gonna keep trying to talk to them. So that's what I said more is
Well,
try to get the community.
So one other side of the tax is not just dealing with property tax, right? So what about removing restrictions on public schools to allow let us have more degrees of freedom to work the numbers the same way the parochial schools do, right? So that's another angle of legislation we can work at to say, how can we start to make changes locally at each one of our districts, whether it's, the voucher system that's still at play for the parochial schools, can we have access to that as well? Like, there's other avenues, right? But if we can get more degrees of freedom to work with it, we can explore more options, even if we're dealing with harder property tax issues. Which is why I think maybe a sit down with them, if they'd be willing to do it, obviously not just us, it'd probably be better for other schools there to talk to them. So if you guys want to reach out to the other schools in the area to see if that's something that they'd even be interested in doing. Thoughts, anybody else on that?
No, I like it.
It's gonna be an issue for a lot of schools.
Yeah, that's what I mean, so
400 public schools will be affected if.
Yeah, number 400 at the 20 mil floor.
That's.
So last year, Mr. Bagwell, myself, Mr. Nero met with local legislators, and it wasn't as dire. So last year, there's two buckets, right? One is local funding, one is student aides and substitute aides or substitute custodians. We are hiring Holly Bennett for a custodial assistant. A great job, Dean. I know working and interviewing and getting a lot of candidates to fill our custodial needs. So you can see there's several students that are several individuals that are substituting as aide and a custodian. So that's why they're on there twice, doing two different roles. Looking at item F, motion to revise the following supplemental. So this individual was getting a 6.5% per the contract, and now they're volunteering. And later in the agenda, the person that was volunteering is now picking up. So they just swapped on the compensation per the athletic director. And then looking at G, motion to approve the following supplemental contracts. There's a host of individuals from cheer to wrestling. A lot of our winter sports. Moving forward with coaching and looking at the rest of this in extended day. Looking at item H, motion to approve the following personnel dinner pay. So over the course of the last few years, we've increased for both the classified staff and certified staff with their compensation. And there was an area in there that was dinner pay that's not in any agreement or any of that. So when we took up those individuals that regularly sign up for dinner pay, we didn't look at the regular pay, we didn't look at the dinner pay. So normally dinner pay is always around $2 more to get people to work the Saturday or the team fees and stuff like that. So that was, as we go through, this motion is simply taking on whoever picks it up. So it could be Rose, it could be Lori. I talked to both of them at the time. So what we said is, well, your pay is different depending on how many years they've been here and so forth. So what we said it is at their hourly rate plus $2. So in the future, we don't have to go through and remember to increase it because typically we increase the hourly rates. So that's what this motion is going for our awesome custodial or cafeteria crew. Looking at item I, motion to approve the following adjustments to a new hire. So Elizabeth Curry is returning to us and helping out at the bus garage and driving. Those are our items.
I just have, actually, just one question, going back to the, substitute aides and stuff. I know last year when we didn't have title in the elementary, we had some of the high schoolers go over on their free time. Are we continuing that to help the elementary and the middle school?
We actually talked about that today with Dean in a little work-based learning. We're probably going to go down that road, and we think it will actually help a lot of other avenues as well, not only students in the needs, but can help with the high school report card a little bit. So we just had that conversation today, so more to come with that.
Okay.
I don't know what it looks like and sounds like, because with having kids, there has to be like work agreements and stuff like that. So I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll move.
Okay, Tyler makes a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Elizabeth seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda items carry. On to item number 9, the treasurer's regular agenda.
Excuse me, so, yeah, it's just, auditing and just getting the budget first approved, there's just school start later, just get some of them in.
So we did a large slug of them. Please, like those, if you want to review anything.
I'll move and thank you.
Very generous.
So Jack makes the motion,
I'll second.
Tyler seconds, all in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 10, the superintendent's regular agenda. Item A is the Columbiana County ESC contract.
Yeah, so part of the law is private schools can receive title dollars, so federal public dollars. So we work with St. Paul's, so some of our dollars go to St. Paul's for our kids that are in St. Paul's. St. Paul's doesn't have title services, so they, just like we work with the ESC, they work with the Columbiana ESC. So this is a contract with them, so they can use our title dollars for the students that need it down in Columbia.
Motion for that agenda item?
I'll move.
Terry moves,
I'll second.
Tyler seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item B, plan to make up hours. Motion to adopt a resolution to make up school hours if necessary.
Yeah, if you can recall, every year we do this around this time. This is just by law, you have to get it done. We're gonna do it next year in July. By law, you have to get it done within a certain time at school. So this is just if you go beyond a certain number of days and you can do online instruction, but we are way above the minimum, which you'll see here in a little bit, of hours for making up school. And actually, after 5 days, then we actually go online and provide instruction anyway. So this is just a resolution that I have to upload to state that we do have a plan.
I'll move. I'll second.
Elizabeth moves. Terry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item C, the 25-26 school calendar revision.
Yeah, so if you look at on page 10, table 1 and table 2, so where there was a typo with the amount of hours students are here. So instead of 6.5, which is 6.5 hours, students are actually here 6.42 hours. So 6 hours and 25 minutes, not 6 hours and 30 minutes. So that threw off all the math. So the math wasn't mathing when we added it all up and had to submit it to the state for attendance purposes. And then we had flagged, and we were like, why did we get flagged? How did this come off? So it was a simple typo when we were typing the notes. So we corrected it, our EMIS coordinator went through and had to correct it all. So this is just simple, a board resolution to state, no, there's no change in the calendar. We're just fixing that typo so we could submit it. But again, we are still 29 days over in elementary school and 17 days over state minimum in the middle school and high school.
I'll move.
Is it, hold on a second.
No, sorry.
Why are we so purposely going over?
So there was a myth, so back in years ago, there wasn't a minimum, and then there were state minimums that have been increasing over time.
Yeah, 29 days.
It used to be days. Used to be 170 teachers, 176, 180 amount of school days that you worked, and then the state converted it to hours. So
Yeah, we sort of the conversion.
yeah. So we've always been like 176, 175. There was a year 173, 174, just depending on the calendar. So we're always around that time frame. And it's just been the practice.
Is that just because the other schools require higher, like middle school, high school requires more days, and we're just syncing the 3 schools, or?
It's really the teacher contract for so many days, so it's still,
Yeah, but I
most schools
mean,
are around like the,
so we're just talking a little bit
days.
about cost, right? And I realize it's serving an educational purpose as well, but a month, so 29 days,
Yeah,
a month over.
because of the
How
hours.
much does it cost to run the school full? I know we stay part-time during the summers, right, but at full capacity for a month, we're going over,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you gotta, what's a day considered an hour? That's the other.
Well, that's what I was asking, so you said,
Yeah,
you said,
that's right.
you said,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we're over that.
And there is
a little bit
legislation,
every day.
it kind of died on the vine recently with the property tax conversation, which has been really taking a lot of the legislators' time. But there was a push to increase minimum hours, because, you know, some schools won't work that 173 or 171. So, just know that that's out there as well, but we're good right now.
no, I realize we're well past the minimum.
Yeah.
It was me thinking more on the efficiency side of things,
Mhm.
so you're saying the amount of hours we're over converts to 29 days extra in school.
Correct.
before we have to make it out.
Before we have to make up hours.
So I guess the flip side of that, the question is,
We're not 29 days excess over the minimum. That's what you're saying, we're 29 days excess.
Yeah.
Minimum. So we have a month of buffer instead of like 12 days of buffer before we would have to make up the minimum. My understanding is correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I think the other side of the question is, without those 29 days, will we get all the education in that we need for the state testing? And
Right, so does the other question have to, and again, this is me asking a big picture question. Do we need to be looking at instructional hours in a more efficient timeline to reduce overall cost for being in school? I mean, we're talking a month over.
A lot of that's negotiated, like you said, because a lot of it's designed around teacher contract days, custodial contract days, bus driver contract days, so it'd be good to reduce
So
that.
there's other reasons why.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of schools are still designing out like the old models, based on student days, I think it was 178. And then if you miss 5 days and beyond the 5, it's still similar, so.
Let me rephrase it then. Should we be looking at an economization plan? Especially with everything we just discussed previously with.
I mean, all options are,
Yeah,
But that would have to be at the time of negotiation for anybody.
I realize it, but if all of a sudden we're saying, hey, we don't have, if the floor falls out from the property tax and everything else, it'd be nice to have
Everything's being
a couple backup plans already evaluated. You know,
Because there's a difference between making cuts and
correct.
cutting everybody a little bit.
Correct.
essentially.
I mean,
I'm not saying we have to do it, I'm saying we should maybe look at it. That's, and I know you guys have a lot on your plate, I'm just throwing something out there right now.
So everything will be available, so.
Maybe first steps, talk to some other schools and see what their calendar looks like if they're doing the same number of days.
and I think I would reach out to our local leadership here, like with our teachers association, say, hey, have you ever heard, like, what's this look like and sound like? Start just having that conversation with our own SREA.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I realize that's a huge thing to begin to look at.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need teachers, all educators, principals involved with that. I'm not saying we need to move mountains with it, I'm just saying if we're really talking about big contingency plans, or cuts or things like that, could we make up the difference by streamlining the educational calendar? By shrinking some school days, like how much does it cost per day to run full capacity here? You see what I'm getting at? So like,
Oh, yeah, like I said, that really, your biggest cost is salary and benefits, which is 80% of your budget, so it's really negotiating with the unions.
yeah, but there's
Where that would come
still,
with.
there's still monetary overhead, like per day by just running a facility.
Yeah, I said, but your biggest savings are gonna be in salary benefits. That's gonna have your biggest impact on your budget. So like I said, everything needs to be looked at. I'm not saying not, I'm saying, but that's where you're gonna see your biggest savings.
I'm not disagreeing.
So it's just, a lot that would be, like you said, talking with the unions and seeing what that would look like, if that would be even.
Any other thing?
Not looking at it financially though, but how would it impact the kids'
I mean, we used to do
education?
we used to do every other day kindergarten. I'm not claiming one is better than the other, I'm just saying there were differences, right?
Right.
Okay, so I think it might be wise to begin to look at it if we're that far over.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Sorry again, I know I'm going off on
Yes,
tangents.
no problem.
I'll second.
Sorry, we had Terry with the motion.
Correct.
Elizabeth with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, the special education model.
Nothing's changing with special ed, there's nothing at all. The state, if you recall, back in January, we passed something, and then in February, we passed something because the state changed from the federal government, and then the boards had a pass that's everywhere. Well, the board, at that time, you had to submit it by May, so we did it in February. Well, then they passed that law this summer that says you have to do this again by November of every year. So hence, we're here now. This policy is this, what this is saying is, I'm going to take these words, these 5 paragraphs or so, and upload it in the state system to say, yes, we have a resolution, yes, we follow the rules of special ed. That's all this is. This is that same policy of, we were kind of wondering why in November when we just did it again. Some districts aren't doing it again, however, our local lawyer told us, just get the board resolution, and then you're good. Don't risk it, basically. So.
I'll move.
Tyler moves,
I'll second.
Jack seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. The item number E is an MOU between the SREA and the board to approve the MOU pertaining to timelines for submitting modules and coursework.
Yeah, so there's 2 different timelines, and you know, we started school a little later this year, so it kind of throws off everything with timelines and so forth. So this MOU is basically going to one time frame, so people have more time to get stuff in for reimbursement. Mario will have time to look at that and then approve that.
Any questions? You wanna make the motion?
I'll move.
Tyler moves,
I'll second.
Jack seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to item number 11, public participation. Again, we don't have anybody on the list, but if there's anybody who would like to speak on non-agenda items, we're going to ask for your name and address and then limit for 2 minutes. Seeing as there's none, we will continue to item number 12, other items. The only thing that we had on the list tonight was talking about the meeting in November. We have a regularly scheduled meeting November 19th at 6 p.m. Anybody have any conflicts with that, or does that look okay?
I'm good.
If that looks good, then
I'll move.
we just need a motion for adjournment, and Jack moves,
I'll second.
Elizabeth seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's all for tonight, 6:44, Mario. Okay, thanks so much for coming. Be sure to check out the stream on Friday.